Hello, my dears. I think, I think this is working. I've gotten a bit better about the technology this year than I did last year. Last year, you might recall, it took me a good 3 chances trying to get in. Yes, yes, I am. I'm talking. Oh my goodness! Thank you. Thank you so very much. Oh, they are my favorite earrings as well, my dear. Thank you, thank you. It's so bustling here at the North Pole. That's part of the reason why I keep on this virtual background, because we can't let any of the secrets out before the holidays arrive, whether you're getting your gifts on Hanukkah or Christmas or the winter solstice. So let's see. One of the things that Kate does when she normally goes live with her conversations and things with so many interesting tarot and divinatory professionals is she watches the what do you call it? She watches the chat from her phone because she doesn't do it here. Oh my goodness. Well, it's obviously working. Oh, I heard me. So, if there are any questions that you have that you would like me to answer, I will happily do so. Just type it in the chat. Look at me becoming much more technologically savvy over the last year. So delightful. So, this year, I want to pull a few cards from something that you might not expect from me, which is a Halloween tarot deck, but it just came in such the most adorable tin. A dear friend of mine gave this to me for my birthday, and I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. And so I thought that playing with you all might be delightful, because sometimes, you know, there's much more to all of us than what the eye sees. One of the things that I like to tell the children. And I feel a little strange telling all of you because, well, this is out in the world and on the internet, and so it's not much of a secret if people can find it here. But I also, maybe I shared this last year as well, because, well, it's true, and it's part of the reason why my background is the color it is. Red is not my favorite color. Purple is. And in fact, I also love to crochet. And so this other deck that I have, which is it's called Shakespeare's Oracle, but it's actually a tarot deck, and it is in much more of a Marseille style, meaning that it has pips on it, but I love it because it also has Shakespeare quotes on it. So the Ace of Scepters, which just pops up here. Be not afraid of greatness, from Twelfth Night. Oh, and especially in these days, my dears, when, or if, because maybe your world does not feel uncertain at all, but if your world does, sometimes it can be very scary to be brave, to share our greatness. And so this card very much invites you to be brave and to share your greatness with the world. And it's interesting because I just finished telling stories, which is one of the things that I do. It is one of my favorites. I love telling stories for the children this time of year. And if you would like to hear me tell holiday stories, by all means, tomorrow you can pop over to Bridgeport Village Barnes and Noble at 11 o'clock, or the following Wednesday, I will be there. And if you're closer to Washington Square Mall, which is, both of them are in the Portland, Oregon area, because that's just where I am, right? Visiting, I'll be telling the final round of stories. at Washington Square Mall on Thursday. And today, so many of the stories dealt with greatness and dealt with bravery through the snow, through being different and misfits, through being a caged animal and then being freed. Be not afraid of greatness. You, my dear, are very great. So, it does not look like there are any questions in the chat yet, which is fine. I don't even know how many of you are watching this live, but I did want to show this adorable, adorable Halloween tarot, and it comes in a tin, which I just love, and it's such a good size. It's not too big, it's not too small. It fits in my little gloved fingers quite nicely, which I enjoy. And the illustrations on it are just so lovely and fun. I haven't really had a chance to look at it. It looks like there are quite a few images that are very movie related, the Frankensteins and mummies and little vampires and the like. Oh, we have a nice, the chariot, and there's the Sphinx on the hood of the dash. That's quite clever. I love that. I love when the illustrators can come up with really fun ways to weave in traditional iconography. Who did this? This is created by Kipling West. It's a US Games. It's a US Games one. So let's see. I would rather do a little reading for all of you rather than just do a show and tell, because as Kate is, I'm not much just for the show and tell, it's much more fun to see how these things really work and really speak, and I mean, I have to talk about Christmas all of the time. It's going to be fun to talk about something a bit Halloweeny for a change. Although you might not know this, but up in Christmas Town, up at the North Pole, we do quite a spectacular Halloween as well. So many intricately carved jack-o'-lanterns and things. All right, so here we are, shuffling about, and I've noticed some more people have popped on. So if you have a question that you would like to ask, by all means, toss it in the chat. What question shall we ask this lovely little Halloweeny deck? Oh, be not afraid of greatness. Sometimes it's the cards that want to ask the question. Be not afraid of greatness. So, if we find ourselves being afraid of our greatness, what can we do about it? That is an excellent question. What can we do if we find ourselves being afraid of our greatness? And the card that fell out, I don't always just go by whatever card falls out. Some people do, and it's a fine way of working, but it's only one way of working, But this does feel right. And that is the important part, that it feels right. So, when we are afraid of our greatness, we are given the High Priestess. So, how can we trust? So, part of how we can trust our greatness more and to let go of that fear of greatness is by really embodying this High Priestess, remembering that it is in all bodies, all sex gender combinations, the High Priestess or Priest X or even priest. There is a difference between that and between that and the magician, and there's just something going on a little strangely here that I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's a little better. I'm very particular about my curls, you know. Mrs. Claus does have a bit of vanity, which has nothing to do with the two, which has nothing to do with the high priestess. So, if we find ourselves afraid of our greatness, how we can embody the high priestess, we can embody our magic, we can imagine and envision what that greatness is, what it will feel like when we're successful. Oh, I had a friend once who did something delightful that I thought was so smart. And she had a large group of her friends together. It might have been on a birthday. I don't quite remember. But regardless, having a big group of your friends together, and she asked them to just clap and whoop and holler and be so loud and excited for her so that she could practice feeling what it would be like to receive all of that energy, because she knew that it was a way of being and a way of receiving that she had not experienced herself in her life. And so she wanted to be ready for it. She wanted to make sure that she didn't have a no fear response to it, that instead, when she was applauded, when she got those accolades from others, that she could say, yes, thank you. And I thought that was so smart, and that is such a high priestess or priestess or priest thing to do, of imagining that situation, listening to your body, what's needed, what's expected, noticing the difference between the expectations and the dreams, because hopefully your dreams are different than your expectations. I'm just knocking my little cards everywhere. Let's place those so a little safer. And she created that container, that spell that was perfect for her. And so we don't need to be afraid of greatness. We can imagine what it is and how it will feel like when we embody our light, our greatness. I'm thinking about how in 2025 we'll be going into a hermit year, and I'm seeing that lantern, and I'm seeing that star, that light, that brightness in front of that lantern. And I love how every single one of us has such a different light. It's so similar. It's like it's the beginning part of the journey to get to the star, you know? And we can create the magic spell. We can listen to that mystery. We can put on the mask of truly believing that we are so gloriously powerful, you know, that we absolutely can manifest that greatness, that, Kate has that saying, best, beautiful, equitable and ethical, sustainable and timely, that we can manifest that great, best world, you know? And so this high priestess is what we can invoke or evoke from ourselves if we notice that we are being afraid of our greatness or being a bit tentative or swallowing our words. And when there's something also here interesting in looking at these two cards together, we have a 1 and we have a 2, and we have a minor arcana and we have a major arcana. So there's also quite a bit of balance here as well. Balance in thinking about the largesse and the dreaming, and then the practical step. What is best done next? What is that next best step for that dream, for that vision? My goodness, my bow is crooked also. All sorts of things about me are just a little cattywampus today. So, my dears, for those of you who have joined, do you have any questions for me? Whether you would like a card pulled from Shakespeare's Oracle, which is in fact a tarot deck. Maybe that will give you potentially a little Shakespeare quote for what's going on. Or if you would like a card pulled from the Halloween tarot with all of these lovely, lovely Halloweeny scenes. The Ace of Ghosts. I do think it is quite adorable how they have changed the suit names to situate with things. I'm not quite sure how I feel about ghosts being cups, because I don't know that I actually want to drink a ghost. You know, I think that might, I don't know. I think that might taste a little funny. I don't remember the other ones that they've changed to. Oh, right. Pumpkins instead of pentacles. That is a quite logical one. Imps instead of wands. Our little fiery imps. And, oh, right. And then bats instead of swords, which, you know, that does make sense, as the bats, they fly and such. So, and then the major arcana is obviously the major arcana. It is a lovely little deck, and it was such a delightful little birthday present. And indeed, it is also very nice to receive something for my birthday that has nothing to do with Christmas and the life or the solstice and things. So, well, my dears, it looks like there are no further questions, and I feel like the cards have said what the cards wanted to say. So, my dears, I do hope that you have a very wonderful rest of your winter, whether you are celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah, the solstice, Saturnalia. I'm sure there are other holidays going on that I'm not. Oh, Kwanzaa, of course. How could I forget that? And I'm sure there are more that I don't know, that I'm not remembering in this moment. And if you have absolutely no, if you are an atheist, I'm also very glad that you're here, because of course we Clauses are not held by any religion. We are simply spirits of generosity. And so I do hope that however the season moves you, and however the season feels for you, because of course sometimes it's a bit hard, I hope that you are able to find your light and able to touch in to that spirit of generosity in whatever ways you are able to be generous, because of course it's not always with money, it's not always with things. That's just capitalism. There are so many other ways to be generous. So, my dears, if you want another Mrs. Claus takeover next year, do let us know in the comments and such, and otherwise, have a very, very lovely holiday. Oh, and make sure that you hop back to what is it? You're supposed to like turn on subscriptions and notifications and things like that to know when Kate goes live or when other people take over for her. I'm not sure what exactly she has going on in the new year for the lives, but I'm sure it will be something delightful. And she's presenting at StarCon this year and at Convocation as well. So if you're going to either of those, do enjoy. And last look at the chat. All right. Happy holidays, loves.